Dusty was not to become known for her politics, but the South African incident underlined her emerging reputation as a hellraiser. Her hot temper and goonish sense of humour meant that trouble followed her around. Dusty's outsider status was fueled by rumours about her sexuality, which were countered with carefully managed publicity that presented her both as straight and forever on the verge of romance. The flip side of success for Dusty was a punishing schedule of touring and recording, and right from the early days she suffered from nervous exhaustion. Her workload was increased by her hands-on approach.
I would see Dusty actually, you know, take charge, and I think people were not always happy about the fact that she was adamant about what she wanted and what she, you know, I've kind of got a bit more like that now, you know, but I admired that in her, and I loved that. I saw it as feistiness, not awkward at all.
It was hard, no doubt about it, because first of all she's extremely musical, I mean really musical, and knew sounds and knew what she wanted on her records, and of course was influenced by America. So she felt really strongly when she went into the studio that she wanted to get certain sounds which English musicians perhaps hadn't played before, arrangers hadn't really thought about, so she was constantly playing people bits of records and saying this is what we should do, this is the sound we want, this is the echo.
I close my eyes and count to 10, and when I open them, you're still here.
She would like for the bass player to use his finger to play and not a plectrum, because that's what she had seen in America. Little things that don't mean anything to most people were really important to her. But when she brought them over to the UK, a lot of musicians didn't like that. But she knew what she wanted.
You don't own me. I'm not just one of your many toys. You don't own me.
People never give women credit for knowing that they can get it, and Dusty really did. And in fairness, Johnny Franz, who was the producer, was excellent. I mean, he was older, and he was more than happy to sit back, put his feet up, and smoke his cigar, and let her get on with it.
And don't tell me what to do, and don't tell me what to say.
Everyone in Phillips, when you think about it, in the early 60s and mid-60s, it was very male-dominated. So for this so-called star to come along, female, telling us what to do, wasn't really accepted. But that's why she got the reputation, and she always used to say, when a man stands his ground, they go, yeah, he stood his ground. But when a woman stands her ground, she's a bitch.
I think my first consciousness of Dusty Springfield was driving to work one day in 1965 from Long Island into our Atlantic Records office in Manhattan, and I had the radio on, of course, and here comes this beautiful voice, and I hadn't heard it before, and it was just mesmerizing. If I remember, the song I heard on the radio that day was Some of You Loving. Her voice really struck me, and I knew that this was somebody very special.
I know a man likes to feel that he's been around before he decides to settle down. I've no doubt someday you're gonna feel that way too. But baby, just remember, I tell you, gotta give me some of your Attracted by Jerry Wexler's work with artists like Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin, Dusty teamed up with the legendary producer to make her next album, the classic Dusty in Memphis. But it was to be a rocky road.
So we scheduled for American Studios in Memphis. The band was brilliant, but much to my dismay, Dusty absolutely would not sing a note. I don't know how many days we spent in Memphis. Probably was about 2 weeks. She just wouldn't sing.
Jerry's gone in print as saying, I'm the most insecure singer he's ever come across, and at that time he was quite right. What he didn't realize, I think, was how intimidated I was. Because they were telling stories and talking about Aretha, and I'm going, why are they recording me? And that showed in the time that it took to get vocal performances out of me.
We ended up in New York in a hired studio on 57th Street. And that's where we did the vocals. And there were just Aretha, Tom Dowd, and myself in there to work with her. And there was one, during one song, I had to duck a flying ashtray. I haven't told that before. I don't think I put it down.
Don't forget about me now, baby.
Dusty had the stigmata of perfectibility. So when she did perform, she was afraid to let it go because her standards were so high and it might not come out exactly right.
Just a little loving early in the morning.
There was an element in me that often thought I was a sham anyway. It took a lot to break that down, that critic in me. And they did it. I mean, they got it out of me somehow or other.